All right, quick conversation here. Uh, Last time I drove this truck any significant distance, we had a couple of issues. One is most of the time the temperature never would get up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit on the temperature gauge. And then when we were in standstill traffic, due to that, I'm assuming we don't have a thermostat in there at all. And then also, this fan clutch used to just free spin, and now it's opposite. It's almost completely locked up. Either way, I suspect that fan clutch needs replaced. So I've got a new fan clutch, got a new thermostat. Another thing that it started doing was it was saying it was misfiring on cylinder number 1. That'd be this number 1 coil here. So the idea was that I was going to troubleshoot by changing the position of the coil and see if that problem follows, but it's such a rare problem. It only happens when I've been on the road for several hours, which tells me I probably genuinely do have a coil going bad. So instead of troubleshooting and maybe testing it with the multimeter, I'm just going to go ahead and replace that coil and keep this one as a spare, probably throw it in the glove box or something, and then we're going to go on from there. I don't know if y'all caught that, but I did just fine. I only had it right side up the first try. Alright, so as your coil lead goes to basically where your spark plug wire would go to the spark plug, and there's the lead to power the coil. I had it upside down. So we'll put it up the right side up this time. I'm sure it'll be easier to plug everything up if it's in the right spot. 1 bolt, 2 bolts. Now the fun part, we get to try to replace that fan clutch and go from there. Alright, so we're going to use this fork one to grab the bolts on the pulley and stop them from spinning. And we'll use the 36mm to try to remove the water, fan clutch from the water pump. I don't know. Find a way of separating a little bit. Well, it fit earlier. Alright. On the clutch shaft now, I'm trying to work it to the front to give myself room for that other wrench. All right. Strike one of them with a hammer while stabilizing the other one. Probably put a 2x4 from the frame to this one so I don't damage any power steering lines there. I'll be right back. Alright, I have a hard time getting on there to strike it. I feel like this is too tall and I'm going to shorten it. So I've determined this guy's not going to give me enough grip, enough traction to be able to do what we're trying to do here, is break the torque on that clutch. I've seen a tool at the auto parts store that is available. It was like 30 bucks. And basically it's kind of like that. It's an L-shaped piece. And one side has a bolt hole through it. You put a bolt through it and then stabilize off the other bolts on the water pump there. And anywho, I tried to replicate that with this angle iron. And then I remember the thickness of the angle iron is not going to be able to let me in there between the fan clutch and the pulley. So we're going to go grab some flat stock, do the same idea, and hopefully that will work for us. Alright, so I'm back. We've got our new tool that we just made. I'm going to install it with one of the bolts. Might not be close enough to the edge. We'll find out here shortly. When making your own tools, it's trial by error. No one's helping you. After watching the video, when you're making your own tools, no one's helping you. But if you watch my videos, you can learn from my mistakes and maybe make your own tools faster and easier. Alright, I got one of two methods as a solution. Drill a new hole on the opposite end, or just take a flat disc, grind off a little bit of the extra material here, so we have room to get that bolt in on that water pump pulley, and get this installed. This hole is too far from the edge there. Alright, we're back. We've taken a little bit of material off. We've kind of used that flat disc to deburr a little bit and continue rocking. Pull that and hit the floor. Get it back later. That fan clutch is really in the way. That's annoying. And so is all these ambulances. It's like they know I'm trying to videotape. Man, that thing's still hot. Alright, we're going to give that a moment to cool off. And we'll be able to get that bolt in there without burning my fingers. All right, we've got the wrench in here, supported off that 4x4 block, and we're going to strike here. Actually, yep, we're going to strike that with a hammer. We broke the torque. Yes, we did. Oh, our wrench came off. Lovely. High quality rental wrenches. Oh no. Alright. See how it is turning? We broke the torque, and we're stuck on this tool. So we'll take that tool off real quick. Alright, be right back. Something I just discovered. This can stay on there. Spin this off. There's our old fan clutch. It's been through heck. Came with the engine, and the engine was recently refurbished, remanufactured right before I got it. The remanufactured sticker was only 9 months old, so I believe they would just reuse the fan clutch, as it probably stayed with the vehicle when the motor was being remanufactured. All right, here we go. We're gonna remove those four. Swap this over to the new clutch. Man. All right. I'm relieved. What you do first? Okay, we got different hardware apparently. I do want to check. There are different rotations in these guys. Okay, supposed to have right hand rotation. I'll spin that on there quickly. very concerning. All right, we're back. We had to make a quick trip to the hardware store to buy new bolts that fit this fan clutch. The old bolts were the wrong diameter and just dropped right into the hole. We also had to bump the holes out a little bit on the fan itself. Just use a step bit gently, kept working at it until I could get the bolts to go through. Then I just kind of gently got them through and then used an impact to drive them on down. I did manage to get the fan clutch to screw onto the water pump extension there that's threaded. Off camera, of course. It just wasn't going on straight, and with it not going on straight, it wasn't threading on straight. So here we go. We do know it will fit, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing installed so we can get this truck back on the road. Bit harder with the additional weight of the fan there on the clutch. You also notice that this truck does not have a fan shroud. Due to the 2-inch body lift, the original fan shroud will not fit. It needs significant modifications. We looked into using some other fan shrouds. Also, those did not fit. So, pretty sure that has less to do with it overheating than the clutch and the thermostat being missing. What happens if you don't have a thermostat is water circulating through the radiator and your motor at all times, and it doesn't have a chance to cool off very well in the radiator. Especially if you get in a situation where you are pressing the motor a little bit and causing some heat. With it, fan clutch not working properly, every time I attempted to get into traffic, the motor would not cool properly. On open interstate, it had no problem cooling, and on short trips, it had no problem cooling. But after several hours of driving on the road, and then you get into bumper-to-bumper traffic in a big city like Kansas City, that's the only time it's ever ran hot. And so this has been on my to-do list for quite some time, and now it's finally getting done. Somebody pointed out to me in one of my early videos when I first started the engine that my fan clutch wasn't functioning properly. Hold the fan clutch straight dead in. It doesn't look right. There we go. Now, we'll get this part screwed in off camera, and next step was we'll take this. I'm gonna have to take this off, the air intake, just to get to the thermostat better, and we'll replace that thermostat. All right, we're able to get it started. Screw that on down. worn enough. After several years, it's going to self-tighten anyway. Let's go ahead and get this tool off. Put the water pump back on. What's the water pump pulling bolt? But anyway. Now I have one of the two tools it takes to replace the fan clutch on this truck, and it's not my only 8.1 engine. As I understand, many other engines use the same style of fan clutch to water pump engagement. Of course, if I say that I'm going to turn the camera off and remove this bolt, it'll come right out. As long as the camera's running, it's going to fight me. Now without the tool in there, both finger from each hand in there, gotta get it to spin better. I've got gear wrenches, but I don't know where they're at right now. Out of the way. You know what? I just remember where our second set's at. I'm going to go ahead and screw that down as much as I can. Didn't we drop one earlier? I bet you it's under the truck. Be right back. Yes, we had one of the bolts fell under the truck. We're going to go ahead and get that installed as well. Oh, go ahead and snug up the there it is. Oh, also when I did the body lift, also we changed to a 8.1 engine, and this is not the 8.1 accessory drive for the pickup trucks. This is for the workhorse chassis, so it takes up more room this way. Put the fan way inside the fan shroud, kind of. If you can imagine where the fan shroud usually is on a square body truck, it extends quite a ways back here. In fact, the fan shroud was actually touching, when we tried to put it in, it was touching the alternator even. So it would have taken significant modifications to try to make that one fit. bolt's started, but I can't get it to thread. There we go. Gear wrench to the rescue. Well, maybe not. Still turning. For a second there, I was convinced it was cross-threaded. Yeah, Alright, so camera cut off right before I started taking the thermostat housing off. Was able to take the intake tube off, take the thermostat housing off. We did find a thermostat in there. Apparently it was defective because most of the time driving at highway speeds it never got above 160 to 180. Usually well below 180, usually around 160 Fahrenheit. But then when we get stuck in traffic, it would overheat. So I'm thinking that thermostat was defective. We've also replaced the fan clutch, which we've well documented here. And we'll just top off the coolant in the radiator here in a bit. Probably going to change the oil and transmission fluid soon. I've put about 3,000, maybe almost 4,000 miles on this engine since I've done the engine swap. We've had a couple leaks over here, the power steering fluid / brake fluid area there. It's peeled some paint off both the firewall and the frame. I'd love to get in there and scrape the bad paint off and clean it up and get new paint in there, but that's a different project for a different day. So either way, if you like this content, you like these vehicles, you like putting a modern engine into an older vehicle, that's kind of what I'm specializing in here. We put an 8.1 in this square body crew cab. The next project we're going to be putting an 8.1 in a square body C10. Not for pulling power, but for fun power. So either way, like, subscribe, and definitely share and comment. We'll see you in the comment section either way. And y'all behave. We'll see you in the next one.